The Rolwaling is only a few hours' drive from the Kathmandu Valley, the economic and administrative heart of Nepal. The next section of the Great Himalaya Trail will take us through Langtang to the north of the valley, and from there across the southern flanks of the Ganesh Mile, around the Manosphere Circuit, and on to the Annapurnas and the far west regions of Dolpo, Mugu and Humla. When we started trekking again, it was marriage season, and we bumped into a wedding party. They were walking for 10 hours, singing and dancing as they went to collect a bride from a nearby village. They then partied overnight before returning tomorrow for the 10-hour return trip. Their stamina was truly humbling. Meanwhile, we continued to the sacred lakes of Panchpakari. These three guys have been here for 3 months looking for Yasagumba. Yasagumba is a mushroom that grows on the head of a caterpillar that lives underground. And this guy has got some. It sells for tens of thousands of dollars a kilo to the Chinese, who believe it's an aphrodisiac. Used as a natural version of Viagra in traditional Chinese medicine, Yasagumba is perhaps the largest cash crop across the Himalaya. Its trade is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's a vital income for many remote communities. But the environmental impact of its collection is growing, and another reminder of how fragile life is for mountain people. We crossed Tilman Pass to the Langtang Valley and towards one of the ethnic groups that is perhaps my favourite in Nepal, the Tamang people. We arrived in Gatlang, a large Tamang community, the day before Buddha Jayanti, or Buddha's birthday, a major festival for the fun-loving, easygoing and hard-working locals. Tamangs are one of over 20 ethnic groups along the Great Himalaya Trail high route, and they're all worth getting to know. After a day of partying in Gatlang, we headed west, across the southern slopes of the Ganesh Mile, a region populated with delightful Gurung villages. Another week later, we arrived at the Manosphere Circuit, which many consider to be the best general trekking route in Nepal. And this is where a couple of friends from Australia, Tim and Sandra, joined me for my final long push to Hilsa, another 2.5 months away. The trails around the Manosphere Circuit and over the Lakula make for a magnificent trek, and once over the pass you're treated to one of the best campsites in the entire Himalaya, at Bintang. Manaslu led us to the Annapurnas and then on to Dolpo, a stunningly beautiful region full of legends and ancient beliefs, and perhaps the most beautiful place in the Himalaya, Fuxumdo Lake. But when we reached the Annapurna circuit, we were surprised to find that the locals were converting the old track into a road all the way to Penang. The upper sections were still being built, and the recent heavy rains had already caused landslides across some sections. As we entered the Penang Valley and passed the 500-year-old monastery at Braga, I couldn't help pondering the fate of the region. I was confused. How could this road be called progress?
At a touch, over 5,400 metres, this is the Thorong La, perhaps the most popular Himalayan pass for the last 20-25 years. Probably soon to be eclipsed by the Chola in the Everest region, because the road to Penang is almost finished and the road to Muktanath on this side is finished. So the Annapurna circuit, once a 17-18 day trek, has been reduced to a 4-day hike over this pass.
As I descended from the pass, I had second thoughts. Who was I to judge the road? Of course my opinion was one-sided and not representative of local interests. I decided it was time to talk to the locals and get their views on the road. Lakpa Gurung summed things up very nicely.
It used to take us 5 or 6 days to get a sick child to hospital. Now it only takes 1. We used to have crops that went bad because we couldn't get them to market. Now we can sell them. We never had fuel all year round. Now we can buy fuel and be warm in winter. Yes, the road has affected our tourist business, but it has brought others who did not like trekking, and now we're working together to make new trails all around the place. I think the road has been good for us, and I think the trekkers will come again to try the new trails.
Lakpa had well and truly put me in my place, and now when I feel confronted with progress, I keep an open mind before jumping to conclusions about other people's lives. Jompsum is a transport hub to the region, and where our small group was joined by another friend, Jeff. Together we headed to the back door to Dolpo, and into a traditional nomadic world rapidly disappearing elsewhere.
Well, we're still on a high point, past the gateway to Dolpo.
The Jungbun La is the rim of a 5,000 metre high plateau that locals use to graze animals during the monsoon. We camped on the far side of the pass in a karka, or seasonal grazing place, near some Tibetan nomads. For much of the year these nomads tend their yak herds and live in traditional tents like these ones. They're made from woven yak wool and have whittled wooden tent pegs. They're surprisingly cosy inside. After some salt butter tea, we were given buckwheat pancakes, cooked on a rock, heated over a brazier. They were delicious. Pemba loves them, with a big dollop of fresh chilli, and they make an excellent breakfast.
So we finally made it to Chakrabat, and we're standing in the old village and looking at the newer village across the river.
This medieval village once had to defend itself against bands of marauding Tibetans, but now the only invaders are the occasional trekking group. We made a young friend who, like most kids in the mountains, wanted to show us his home.
These rocks are a bit more slippery.
We moved quickly through Dotarap and over the Namala La to the picturesque campsite at Danagar, and then it was over the Bagala La, where we then ran into a migrating yak herd. Yaks frequently weigh up to half a ton and are skittish, unpredictable animals. We gave them a wide berth. Many locals in Dolpo call Fuxumdo Lake the evil Lake of Ring. They believe a demoness flooded the valley to wipe out a village she believed had betrayed her. The Gompa here was established to keep other evil spirits at bay, but it is said she must take one passing yak into her waters each year. If not, she'll cause another disaster. The legend is an interesting way to explain the annual loss of animals, which might also have something to do with the narrow and dangerous trails around the lake edge. For us, Fuxumdo was just a place of beauty, and the beginning of the route to the high passes to Mugu.